Hey guys, what's up? It's Yana. Welcome to day 3 of Camp NaNoWriMo, July 2023. May the odds be ever in my favor. I'm actually not even a fan of the Hunger Games, not of the books anyway. I quite like the movies. I think the books are kind of a bit rubbish. Come at me. I know that's a very unpopular opinion. Anyway, so update from yesterday, I did get my ticks on all of my projects, which means that I managed to work at least a little bit in every single one of them, even if it was a very small amount of like hours or words or just work done. But yes, I did get to that one project that I neglected for the rest of the day, the fantasy romance one. Yeah, so I'm happy with what I did yesterday, but I am today still quite tired and underslept. This time because, well, since I went to bed late the previous night, that meant that I couldn't fall asleep in at a reasonable time last night either, and the moon was still big. And I know I keep blaming the moon, but it's honestly very, very bright. And like my bed is right next to like a wall of windows. And on top of that, I had a lesson this morning quite early, 9:30 for me, which I know is not that early, but if you haven't gone to bed at a reasonable time, it's quite early. And then that was actually 7:30 in the morning for the poor child who is in the UK right now. And this is because I told them that I could only do lessons in the morning while I was on holiday. Well, holiday because I didn't want my evenings to be busy, especially with the time difference. If I were to do it at 7:30 at night, let's say it'd be 9:30 here, that's too late to be working, especially when you're interacting with people. Don't want to do that. These kids sometimes drive me crazy anyway. It's not their fault. It's the 11 plus exams. Why do we have to put children to that? Anyway, I'm getting paid to do that, so you know. But I had that lesson, so I had to get up like relatively early, which means that I haven't slept that much today either. So what I'm thinking is I've been trying to get into like a semi-holiday mood. It hasn't been working this year at all. I don't even feel like it's summer yet. So because I'm now tired enough to not really stress over work and other things, like I'm so tired that I'm just like, fuck everything. I think what I'm gonna do today is I'm actually going to start with my fun projects first. I've been very good for the last couple of days about starting with the most important project and then doing kind of like the second priority one and only leaving the fun stuff for the end, which also makes sense because it's something to look forward to and like it's less effort. But I feel like I just probably shouldn't keep pushing right now and just do serious work as soon as I finish lessons or like as soon as I get up, because then by the end of this holiday I'm going to feel like I haven't rested at all. So today I'm going to start with the easy peasy fun stuff, unless I fall asleep in the middle of writing, and then hopefully I will like get a little bit energy from that, and then I can work on my client like jobs, things that I need to do. Words are difficult. Words are difficult, okay? My brain is very sleep deprived. So this is what I'm going to do. I might actually start with the fan fiction. Again, that is not in any way a priority, but it does have readers and like people want to get a new chapter, which is always fun because like you get reactions and you get to see what people think because they comment. So that's quite motivational. And I think the cool thing about that is that because it is set in like a historical period, I'm ending up, even though I'm not really putting a whole lot of effort in technically, I'm ending up doing quite a lot of research, which is actually really fun because So a character would like mention something just offhand, and then I'd get curious about that thing in the context of the time period, and then I will go and Google it, and I would go into this rabbit hole. And it's actually a great way and like a really fun way to just learn interesting facts and kind of just learn about the time period. So for example, one of my characters is in a play, and I wasn't sure what they would be wearing in that century as a costume. So I tried to go and research that, and then from there I kind of got curious about, oh well, what were the famous actors at the time, and what was their social standing? Was it a respectable job to be an actor? And I ended up learning about this English actor who was one of the first to kind of advocate for more realistic acting rather than very, very bombastic. And he was super, super popular and famous, and kind of made the job of an actor respectable, because it used to not be very respectable to be an actor, but he was very respected. And I also learned about his marriage to his wife, who was this German dancer, and they didn't have any kids, but they really, really loved each other and had a great time together, and they were always like painted and portrayed together, so it sounds like it was a really good marriage. And it's just so cool learning about historical people like that, because there are so many just good stories in history. And then the other super interesting thing is, this is always in fanfiction, because I never dare write any like proper original fiction things that are historical fiction, just because I don't trust myself enough to like know the period and do it right. So I risk it in fanfiction because it's fanfiction, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, we'll fudge it a little bit, and I usually make it clear that this is not, you know, it's not proper history, or like this is completely like fantasy fulfillment or whatever, but I still end up researching. But so I only do this in fanfiction. I often end up with somebody who has a medical condition, and I dive so very deeply into like the medical stuff, and like what is plausible at the time. Would they be able to diagnose this? Oh, this historical person had these symptoms, but like we're not sure what disease they had, so what could it be, and what's the differential diagnosis for this? And I have a degree in biology, right, so I have a little bit of knowledge about that, and I really like digging through those historical texts, and it's happened a few times at this point. So in the thing that I'm writing right now, there's actually two characters. One of them is like a character from the thing that I'm writing fanfiction of, and the other one is an original character that I've added, but they're a real historical person, so I guess they're not an original character, but you know, their fictionalized version is an original character because they're not part of the thing that I'm writing for. And both of them have like conditions. So I've been doing so much research into what could those conditions be, because it's not completely clear from history. It could be one thing or another. And obviously, because I like those characters, and also because this is not trying to be a tragedy, I'm trying to find kind of the milder possible version of what it could be, so that I could figure out possible treatments that are period appropriate, so that you know, they can have like a happy ending at the end. Even if they're not like completely cured, what is plausible? Would they be able to manage this, and how? So that's actually super, super interesting. And every time I do it, I get into it so much that I'm always thinking, could I just do this for like a real thing, like an original, a novel, or even a story that I'm writing? And I just never end up doing it because I feel like I'm not good enough for that yet. But who knows, maybe in the future. We'll see. For now, we're just gonna practice with fanfiction. It's great practice. It's not the same thing, but it's still really good practice, and it does get the creative juices flowing. So this is probably the first thing I'm gonna do, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, see you later. All right, so we are doing great. We got some words down in my fanfic project, not a huge amount, but it doesn't matter. And then I even had a little nap because it was sorely needed. I hate taking naps during the day because then I usually wake up and I feel like I've been run over by a truck. But it's not too bad, I'm feeling okay today. So then right after that, I actually started work on the main project, the editing project, and we're basically done almost, here we go, so almost the words that we need today to be on track. I'm not really gonna do any more because I stopped at the end of a chapter, so it doesn't really make sense to continue for another like 400-ish words. So I'm just gonna leave it here for today. But either way, that was pretty good. So I'm feeling quite positive about today. I still need to do translating, and there's the other two original projects to work on, but I may have to do that quite a bit later tonight because we have a family friend who's invited us over to like dinner or just to hang out, and so that will be nice because I haven't really seen anybody in like more than a week. I've basically just been holed up at home, like feeling really tired and not feeling very social, well, apart from like with my family. So that would be nice to just kind of go and talk to humans who are not my parents for a while. My parents are great to talk to. But that means that I will have to get back to the other projects a little bit later because we're due there. I do have a little bit of time for translating, so I'm gonna do that before I go there, but we're due there at around 6:30 and it is nearly 5:30 right now, so that doesn't leave too much time for writing. But other than that, I'm in reasonable shape. I am drinking fake Coke. It's not fake coffee this time, it's fake Coke, because only fake caffeine for me ever. And I am also trying to work while ignoring all of this noise. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's coming from the kindergarten, which is right next to our block of flats. And I grew up in this house, so like I should be pretty used to it, but obviously I don't live here anymore. So every time I come back, I'm like, oh my God, these are the loudest children in the world. Every time they let them play outside, it's just so freaking loud. And also it's because in this space between several blocks of flat, so it's like kind of like an echo chamber. Everything that happens in that little space behind our block is just so noisy every time. So I'm just trying to ignore that, but it's not too bad. So I'll get to translating now, and I will see you later with the final update, I guess. Yeah, I'll see you later. I'll do one more little update to see where we are later in the night. Bye! Alright, hello. So final little update for the day.
We came back from our friend's house a little while ago, and then I did just a little bit more work just to make sure that I had ticks in all of my projects. Again, the goals are not really covered, but at least I've done something in all of them for the day. I did some translating earlier, and now just after we came back I did a little bit of work in my middle grade and in my fantasy romance. So both of them have some words added, even though I'm still mostly rereading and editing just a little bit. So I've got ticks in all of the projects once again, which is good. The problem is I massively overate, which I really shouldn't have done, especially late at night. And I also haven't done all of my steps for the day, which means that I am now going to have to do that. And there are two options: either go out, maybe take the dog out, which I really don't want to do because I'm too lazy, and also because my mom hasn't finished her steps, so she wants to do that anyway. Or my other option is to walk around my room like an idiot while watching a show on Netflix or YouTube videos, and I have a feeling it's gonna be option number 2. But either way, I am going to go to bed soon after that because I'm really tired, and also it's really warm, which is sucking my energy. But that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching if you did, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!